Sometimes you want to get your heart pumping, test your reflexes in a competitive shooter, or wrestle a force feedback wheel on the very limit of control. And sometimes, well, you don't. Whether you've got doom-scrolling fatigue, exam brain fog, the 6 latte jitters, or any of the other modern moods that drain your emotional batteries, these games bring the wholesome like a garden party round Mr. Rogers' place. Today, we're focusing on cozy, wholesome games. These are safe spaces that don't focus on combat or lightning-quick reactions, and instead they want to build a sense of place and tell you a story, very gently. They're sincere expressions of appreciation for life's best bits: nature, kindness, connection, and birds on skateboards. Before we start the parade of heart-healing wholesome, if you're new here, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to get our new stuff when it drops. And extra wholesome points are available for anyone who gives us a thumbs up. Okay, we're looking backstage now and it looks like all of the chunky sweaters have been put on, all the songs have been transposed to major key, and all the clouds have been brushed out of the skies. So let's see the games. Wytchwood looks like a fantastical fairy tale you might have had read to you when you were little. Every scene looks like a picture book brought to motion by beautiful little animated illustrations. We suppose you could bring up Don't Starve or Rayman Origins as reference points, but that doesn't really do this place justice. So the story goes, you are a witch, and yes, we are pronouncing that with a Y, thanks for noticing, in a wood. Waking one day with a classic case of video game protagonist memory loss, a goat eating your grimoire, and a bunch of lost spells to recover. You embark out into a fairy tale landscape that might look dark and twisted here and there, but it's more trimming goats' fringes and getting chased off by angry dogs than all-out Brothers Grimm stuff. It's really polished and never gets old to look at, introducing a breadcrumb trail of Zelda-like elements and characters the deeper you go in. There is one absolute truth about our next green-fingered RPG garden story. You will absolutely want a leaf pillow after watching Concord the Grape bed down in one. The titular garden in this game is a lovely grove that's seen better days. It's up to you, the young vine fruit with a can-do attitude, to turn things around with the help of a rosy-cheeked cast of fellow fruits and veggies. Obviously there's some Stardew Valley vibes here, but Garden Story looks and plays very much like its own thing. And that thing feels like a warm blanket and a mug of steaming cocoa. Hands up who remembers Donut County? Few hands here. Well, like Donut County, Sizeable is about playing around with shape and scale in an aesthetically soothing space. But unlike that game, it's not about shoving the whole world down a hole. Instead, what we have here is a puzzler, presenting scene after scene where the solution is in the scale of the objects. Items pop and burst forth with new objects, affect the weather, or satisfy the whims of the totem gods while you hunt around for a tortoise to save, and various magical pillars to assemble. And while all that's going on, there's just this tremendous zen-like atmosphere. Like, it'd be nice if you solved the puzzle, but the world's not going to end and the tortoise is pretty happy where he is. Look, it all makes much more sense when you're playing it. And in fact, we're getting withdrawal just watching this capture, so let's move on. You just know they came up with the name before the actual game, don't you? And to be fair, once you've landed on a banger like SkateBIRD, the rest of it pretty much develops itself. Slap some birds on skateboards, give them streetwise style and surprising depth of customization, then ride around tidying up a slovenly human's room using skate tricks. The natural advantage birds have over humans in the field of skateboarding, of course, is that they can fly. Like, actually fly. Not just go really fast up a ramp and get big air like the Birdman Tony Hawk. Also, the grip tape's a lot kinder to their birdie talons than our stupid fleshy feet. The more we think about this, the more surprised we are that the ratio of famous human to bird skaters is so skewed towards humans. Doing the bidding of ghost bears doesn't immediately scream wholesome, but give Cozy Grove a chance. Bear with it, you might say, because of the bears. Let's move on. Despite the inherent spookiness, this is actually a very chilled little life sim. You're a spirit scout wandering a beautifully drawn forest, communing with the local ectoplasm and soothing their spirits, finding spirit logs for your mate Flamey the campfire, and then exploring the new bits of the island he unlocks by way of a reward. Cozy Grove runs to a real day-night cycle, and you can only do so much per day, so the idea is that it's the place to visit, hang out in, and gradually upgrade through crafting and building in small sessions each day, rather than a game to absolutely binge. And that's pretty wholesome in itself, isn't it? A game that wants you to do other things, like getting out into nature and, presumably, tending to the needs of any real-life ghost bears you might meet. We're taking a quick trip to Maravilla Island next, on a mission to photograph the fantastical wildlife there and feel all gooey while doing it. Your grandfather was an explorer and wildlife expert who documented this place years ago, but since then it's become a mystery again. It's up to you and your unrivaled eye for selfies to uncover the magical species indigenous here and learn their strange and often deeply cute behaviours. It's a lovely coming together of larger-than-life natural beauty, these great sketches in your grandfather's journal, breezy exploration without any hostile beasties breathing down your neck, and picking which facial expression best captures the moment in selfie cam. Haven Park by name, and indeed by nature. This is a proper little safe haven of woodland nature to explore, salvaging for scraps and ultimately renovating campsites so that your campers have a relaxing excursion and things don't take a turn for the firewatch. But even though restoring a series of tourist destinations sounds like hard work, there's absolutely zero pressure on young Flint here. Even though he's technically in charge of a family business his grandma set up, you're not going to find the health and safety officers turning up to give you a rough ride about fire safety or water cleanliness. So instead, treat it like a walk around a great big virtual garden. You're cultivating nature very gently and watching a growing population of people turn up to enjoy it. Given that there's entire Reddit threads dedicated to the satisfying art of putting things away in exactly the right place, it was only a matter of time before a game decided to prod at the same part of our brains. But Unpacking is far more than just an unboxing simulator. Yes, there's dozens of items to take out and pop into drawers, or find a perfect space on a shelf for, but there's a heartfelt story here too. These aren't random boxes. In fact, they're from the same person as they grow up. So while you start out finding space for toys and knickknacks, things switch up in later rooms. For a game with zero dialogue and only shelf and cupboard space, Unpacking hits an emotional punch. So while it's nice to put books in the right order, prepare for a life of possessions to get you right in the feels. This next game isn't released yet, but gosh, Snufkin, Melody of Moomin Valley, aren't you a looker? With those flipbook-like animations and watercolor visuals, it looks like the perfect antidote to a day of dentist visits, unexpected bills, and disastrous DIY projects. We don't know loads about it yet, but in addition to a focus on using music to manipulate the environment, it looks like old Snufkin is quite the stealthy infiltrator, sneaking through gardens and past guards like Solid Snake for the Headspace generation. It's coming in 2023, which gives us just enough time to binge watch the Moomins in preparation. We've danced, hiked, skated, and selfied our way to the end of the list, but there are tons more games like this out there, so check out our other lists on the channel for more recommendations. And you can hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get oven-fresh content right to you. Let's see a thumbs up if this helped brighten your day and wholesomeize your Steam wishlist. Tell us your picks in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.